Ryan, just to see Andrew kind of come through for you as big as you did. I mean, what was going through your mind as he started hitting 3 after 3 there?
I'm glad he stuck to the shot values. I mean, that was I told him that in the locker room, and we'll continue to say that. You know, hey, he was big. You know, I'd like to hit threes earlier in the game too, and in the middle, instead of just saving them for the end. But I'll take them.
How have you seen, I guess, him work through this with what you want him to do and start to, I guess, adhere to it?
It's tough. I mean, it is, because it is a complete change in system and you know, philosophy from what he maybe has been used to. And you know, it's not to say that you know, he was ever wrong by any means, but it's just how we're going to do things moving forward. So with that, you're going to have situations where, you know, he has to break habits, I guess. Everybody knows how hard it is to break a habit. He's got to break habits. So that's why I do preach patience. But we do also need, you know, accountability with things too. And, you know, I didn't like a few of the shots early, some of those things, and I think he was able to kind of gather himself. And moving forward, you know, I will plan on continuing to see growth in that area for him.
All right, Brett. It seemed late in the second quarter when that lead got away from you. On defense, it seemed like they kind of went small, space and pace, and Rocco was having to chase people. And then on the other end, you kept on going to that Towns post-up. What happened on both ends of the floor for that?
Yeah, well, we didn't necessarily – it ended up with the Towns post-up. You know, it just kind of in the flow of things, you know, and sometimes that's another habit we're trying to break, is that, you know, we've been telling our guys, like, we're going to stick to what we feel and what we believe is going to help this team moving forward. And with that, you know, just because another team goes big doesn't mean that we're just going to go big. You know, we want them to adjust to us, and just because they had guys that were, you know, running off screens, and we have guys who might struggle with it a little bit, we want them to adjust to us on the other end too. Now with that, you have to make sure we're not staring down post-up players, and I think we got into a situation, that's something we'll address with our group, but we don't want to be a team that just stares down a mismatch, because that's when everybody can just collapse. You know, we want to move the ball.
Go ahead, Jim.
Ryan, when you said you weren't happy with a couple of the early shots by Andrew, how do you express that? Do you do it right away while he's on the court? Do you wait for a timeout? Do you do it at halftime? What's your approach? I did it on the court. And, you know, Andrew, you know, a lot can be made of relationships, and I know some people may roll their eyes at the relationship aspect of coaching and of, you know, things with players, but, you know, that's also, it goes both ways. So the ability, like taking Andrew out and then him being able to refocus with things, you know, he didn't hang his head by any means. We got him back in there pretty quick, and, you know, he ended up putting together a nice stat line and playing almost 36 minutes. So, I mean, that was something that I credit him for a lot.
All right, Dane.
Ryan, Noah gave you guys a surge there in the third quarter. It feels like he looks to know exactly what his role is on this team. Have you had conversations with him about the specifics of what that looks like? Yeah, we've had conversations with every player on what their role is. You know, and he, you know, hey, 13 minutes. I mean, he's got other bigs that are talented bigs as well, in terms of, you know, that haven't been seeing minutes, in Jordan Bell and Gorgie Jang. And then the unfortunate thing for Noah is he's got Karl Anthony Towns in front of him. So, I mean, there's just not a lot of big minutes, especially when you're playing smaller. But he's been great in terms of accepting that and knowing that, you know, that they might be maybe quick stints for him, doing his job, and then those other guys have been great in terms of wanting their teammates to succeed.
You talk about patience and breaking habits. Do you, as a coaching staff, have to have patience as well? And also, when you see Wig, how he comes through and does that, can you see him maybe even doing that even more? It's kind of a relationship on both sides there, right? Exactly. And, you know, I'm very proud of Wig. You know, I know everybody knows, you know, hey, how I feel about Wig. He's going to have
a very good year, and it's going to take time for all of it to come together with the our emphasis and changing of systems. But he is going to have a good year, and I'm in his corner, and I want to make sure he knows that. But we're also going to do things the right way too, because we do have a plethora of wings on this team that we can go to as well, and these guys know that.
You talk about the job Jeff did tonight. He really kind of kept you guys in it, I think, until you found your footing there in the fourth, and how important it is to have a veteran like that kind of get into a groove for you guys going forward.
Yeah, he came up big at the end, and then he's the guy that was making free throws for us too. So, I like that in his game. But he controlled things for us. 8 assists, 1 turnover. And then 21 points. I want to say he had 5 for a lot of the game. He had a nice, fourth quarter.
The mood in the building last year for the home opener was quite different than this one. Does this maybe feel like an official turning of the page for this team and this organization going forward?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you could ever point to one, in the moment you can point to something being a turning of the page. I will say our fans were unbelievable tonight, and that's the thing. Like, the fans, they can grow with this team, and they can rally around these guys that, hey, we're having to scratch and claw for things in a tough Western Conference. It's fun to be a part of something that's bigger than yourself, and our fans were that tonight. So I look forward to having 40 more games in the regular season here at home in front of this home crowd. But I think maybe down the line we can look and see when a turning point is.
Scoring wings are often the closers for teams in this league, and Andrew's come through in Brooklyn and now here tonight. Do you see him as somebody who can kind of fill that role for you guys?
Yeah. I mean, it's, he hit 3 threes in a span of, I don't know what it was. It seemed like close to 40 seconds. He was able to get downhill in Brooklyn. He was able to, shoot from, behind the line here tonight. And the mid-range wasn't really there. And, I'll say it again, growth. And I like that.
John, you got the last one. Ryan, just when you see Wiggs hit that third straight 3, you see all the guys mobbing him on the sidelines. I mean, what's going through your head in that moment?
We got to get a stop. I mean,
that's it?
Yeah, and then I got to get the guys in because there was only a minute. It was a short timeout. So I was trying to call the guys over so that we could figure out what we were going to do. But, all playing aside, I was happy for him, but I think the guys were more happy for him, too, because they know how we've been harping on the emphasis and things like that. And then he stuck to it. It's showing through, and, credit goes to him.